Hey guys, I just want to come on here on the internet and just let y'all know that the mall, the Muncie Mall, is about to be closed down in a few years. And how do I know this? When I go to the mall, I see the very mall lacking more stores than anything else. And when I end up going to the mall, there's barely any other stores there, and it's all bare bones. A lot of other stores keep shutting down. A lot of stores shut their doors and all that other stuff. And the very thing about that is that the stores keep on shutting down because the new owner of the mall kept on raising the rent prices for renting a space. And that's why the mall has been like bare bones, because of the new owner of the mall, of the specific the Muncie Mall, that had been raising the space rent prices. But under the old owner of the mall, stores were always in business. The mall was booming. Everything was so much better in the mall under the old owner. Stores are getting more business. Things was much more cheaper in the mall. Way more cheaper than it is now. And some of the owners of the mall has decided to cheapen up during their final days or final months and final weeks of business in the mall. And to the new mall owner, what the fuck are you thinking? You just raised up rent pricing for every fucking store. They don't have that kind of money to stay in business, to pay your bitch ass to fucking stay in business. You're pricing them out of business in the mall. When I go there, I barely see any busy stores. And what few percent of the mall that's actually active is even struggling too. You got people going in there and stealing. You got barely any security in the mall. You barely have reasonable prices on anything in the mall. You got people going in, going out, and all that other shit. And guess what? Your very competition, which is the very, you got like Attic Window, Dave's Video, and Frankie D's giving you competition across the road. You got stores like those giving you competition. Why do you think cheap shit makes more people a lot of money? A lot of money. And guess what? You, the owner of the mall, has been running the mall into the ground with your rent pricing. You're just too fucking lazy to put in the fucking work to make your own fucking money. So you gotta go and just purchase the mall and raise the rent pricing of the very spots in the mall. Under the old owner, stores were able to stay in business for 15 more years, or somebody else whose store quickly, seamlessly takes over that spot. When one store goes out of business, whoosh, the other's new store quickly and seamlessly takes over the spot. But there is bare spots, naked spots, where establishments used to be in the mall. Barely any motherfucking person goes to the mall because of that shit. You priced the mall of rent, leaving people with barely any options to go to in the mall to get their shit, to be able to go get their shit, buy it, and then leave. The mall was supposed to be the bastion of hope, of where to go. Shit. Families, namely parents, and most commonly the young, youthful teenagers. Yes! Youthful teenagers had that as their stomping ground to hang out after school during the summer. And when skate parks were losing popularity, guess what else was gaining that popularity when skate parks were losing them? The malls were gaining that popularity and appealing to the youthful demographic. So many people, so many teenagers for what? 30 years? 3 decades? 1980s, 1990s, the 2000s were getting to the mall during the summer, and some of them during the beginning weeks of the summer heads to the mall, and then during the middle parts of the summer, the beginning days of the second month of the summer every year, occupying skate parks. And then the last month, the beginning stages, or the beginning week, or the beginning days of the third month of the summer every fucking year since 1980 was spent at a camp, a summer camp, and the rest was doing whatever they wanted during the summer. The rest of the vast majority of the summer from 1980 to 2009, they occupied whatever they fucking wanted. But the mall is slowly dying a slow and painful death for the mall culture. And here's the thing. Skate parks are coming back. They're coming back. They're gonna be where teenagers are gonna go and skate and skate. And here's the thing. During the absence of the mall someday, and during the very rise and the very glorious, skate parks are going to come back into popularity, and thrift stores and flea markets are going to become what replaces the mall, because everything in a thrift store, in the thrift store and flea markets, they're going to be what's going to replace the mall culture. And shit, we have dollar stores taking up all the business that the mall used to dominate. The mall is the last bastion and the last giant in history to be slain by the Heracles known as the pricing of rent. And those who were looking to work in the Muncie Mall someday in the future, I hate to break it to you, the mall has shut down. And by the time that the newer generations come across this video, they're gonna know that I was there and I witnessed the slow and painful death of the mall. The mall will be left vacant and abandoned, and they're gonna be like, what the fuck happened? Why can't I get a job here? Why ain't there any stores open here? And they're gonna look back at this video. They're gonna probably go in and sneak into and break into the mall. No one around. Breaking into each store. And seeing what used to be in the mall. What used to be there. And they're gonna end up feeling the pain, the despondency, the hopelessness, the despair. They're gonna feel like that they went into the underworld where there's nowhere in Hades to shop at because nothing is there in the mall. And they're going to look back at this video. They're going to blame you and your descendants and the parents of your offspring, the parents of your descendants. And they're going to blame you for shutting down the mall. And they're going to be like, well, shit, Jason was right. He was there during the decline, the slow and painful death of the Muncie Mall. Even if the building is still around, there might as well be a across the forehead of the mall marked for death soon across the forehead of the mall, of the Muncie Mall. The Muncie Mall was the last bastion to get a job anywhere. The last bastion of youthful exuberance. Barely anybody is in the mall nowadays. There's barely anywhere to shop at, and what very few shops are even struggling to survive in that place. That was like, it went from Mount Olympus or Olympus of the shopping culture. Now it feels like the underworld of the shopping culture. You get barely any ounce of the very stores that are barely even open. And some of them shut down. This has been needing to be said for a long time. And I'm just saying very loudly that to like get this message across to you and having everybody hearing loud and clear that the Muncie Mall is dying a slow and painful death. There used to be things going on in the mall. Shit, back when I was a kid, when I was just this wee little demigod growing up in the 90s and in the 2000s, the mall was a big, massively booming location. And every store was booming with business. There used to be a lot of shit going on. Now you barely even see a fucking Christmas shit going on there. Nowadays, you barely see shit going on. Barely anything is open, and everything else is just shut down. Macy's and Sears or JCPenney's is no longer around in the stores or no longer around in the mall. It's just a sad time for mall culture. And that is the truth. We all know how this ends. This ends with the mall officially that is on life support be fucking taken off life support, killed off, and put out of its misery. And I feel sorry for those in the future who are unaware of the Muncie Mall's existence until they come across this video and hear what I have to say. The Muncie Mall is dying, and the new owner is going to be to blame for raising up rent prices for store spots in the mall itself. Back when I was growing up, and I ain't fucking lying when I say this, back when I was growing up, the mall, yes, the mall was boom. I had got my school clothes there. I had a lot of Christmas stuff coming from the mall. I've had a lot of stuff of mine come from the mall. It was all new, all fresh, needing to be bought. You could go to the mall and pay your utilities at Sears and whatever, what have you. We all know it's just coming to an end. And we all know back when I was growing up, I thought that the mall was going to be around for eternity. But sadly, in my lifetime, that's not the case. I'm just saying. Sometimes pricing people out of like a place to set shop up in to do business, it's just not good. Not good at all. And who knows? If I just sell off my action figure collection, my book collection, get some books of mine published, and then bam, use that money to buy a new, like, put it all in the bank, use some of that to buy more journals, then writing more books, get them published, and then sell the manuscripts to the local museum, the local children's museum, to show the kids where their favorite shows and TV shows and movies, what inspired them, where the ideas for their movies, their TV shows, even their video games was inspired by one local author who basically gave the AAA and the indie game studios and even Hollywood it's inspiration for a lot of other things. And who knows? Maybe if I'm not mistaken, just taking care of all that shit. But anyways, this has been my mall commentary.